Okay, so what we did now, I pulled all the brass pins off these cords, cut the rubber end off it because my yard doesn't want that there. So I got this will go to small brass, insulated wire, the fittings. You see if, yeah, the little red fittings there. These will go to insulated brass, and you can actually melt that off and all the plastic will be dross and you'll have brass left, but you know, I'll see. So, and then we got all these windings here that will be another video later on as I'm trying to get through this this whole thing here with this big unit. So that's it for now. I've got some other little things that I've been working on as I go when I got a spare time. And one is this. It's the terminal board off the side of the unit, and those are all brass fittings, and they're all on the back, and I'll sand that off, or grind it off, or cut it off, or we'll get it off there anyhow and get the brass. All right, we're going to start on this with the sanding disc. I do have a dust mask on. I'm going to try to do it by hand. Maybe hold it from one end. Like that. Do it one hand like this. So you probably could see why I had a dust mask, eh? Okay. We've got one that I didn't get here, so a little bit more dust. Well, that made a mess. But all of these should be pretty close to loose. This one has a piece of copper on it, plus brass. So I'll get on the back side of that and drive those rivets out, and we can cut them off. But first, I think we may have to do a little cleaning here. Okay, I'm going to wash out. We got 90% of the ink off the bench. And rigid shop bag over here. Get him put away and get back to the important stuff. Okay, let's see how much brass we got now out of that. That little terminal strip. 0.6 of an ounce added with the other brass. That's not bad. Okay, this is the one and only relay on this fan unit. I'm going to take it apart because it looks like these, and these. This is input voltage, and these are for the individual fans. So we're going to take this apart because there could be silver contacts inside there. I don't know that there are. There could be. And then I've got also, I can't see any of that, all these wire ends that are going to the fans. So we'll work on those and the insulated wire and take care of that also. All right. Okay, so I did the old anvil trick, smack it with a hammer thing. It did crack the case, so there's the whole outer shell. There's the coil, and there's the silver contacts right there, and in here, and in there. So we've got a little coil, a little bit of steel, a little bit of brass. A little different. Lots of plastic, obviously. Like everything else these days, eh? that doesn't have any anything good on it, so we will try to take it out. Oh, you dog. Oh, I see. Okay. We'll do it this way, maybe. I think what I may do is smuck it a couple more times. Let me go do that, hit it, and see if I can crack. Okay, so I finally got it apart. I just used side cutters and held everything in my hand like this and cut it with the side cutters, cut the plastic. And when you do that, you still get a little plastic come off with these, but I can do that again and I can get the rest off. So I'll show you here, maybe. Like I said, maybe. Just trying to get that coil out of there. See, I almost got it. Almost. I think we'll pull this off of here. Like that. So now we got the whole contactor. That may, no, it doesn't. That's just a core, so we'll file that separately. These will get all the, yep, that is steel. We'll get all these brass fittings off of here, and these ones will get the silver. All right, that's it. Be back. There's several ways to do these silver contacts. I'm going to show you only the way that I do. And if you look here, don't lose that, because that is silver, and it's got part of the copper. And I just cut them off like that, put them in the jar, because this is almost half full. And some of these, now this doesn't look like silver to me. That looks like it might be a gold contact. So what we'll do is we take a little bit of the copper, like this, put your hand over it, squeeze it, and just wiggle that, and there you go, there's a gold contact. So the rest of this copper I'll take off, the copper and the brass, once we get going here. And this one is silver. See, a nice big silver one. Now what I'll do on these is I'll clip it close, like that, wiggle it, get the copper off there, get as much of the silver as I can, and there's a little of the copper. And we still got the, there we go. They may all be copper contacts. Oh dear. And we will find that out when we do a melt of all this junk. I think we're done with the contacts. All right, we'll see you on the next clip. Okay, so that's it. I got all these, all the plastic off of these. I just take the side cutters where the plastic is. I just snip them, and it breaks. I just hold my hand over it so it doesn't shoot everywhere. And now for this copper, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it as short as I can, because you know brass is made up of copper and zinc. So, and that'll go in number 2, and this will go to brass. Number 2, and that's brass. Copper and brass. You know, the copper doesn't amount to anything, so, and all this gets melted anyhow. Brass, 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 copper, copper, done. Okay, that's another thing done. Wasn't planning on that, but there it is, it's done. So we'll see what we're going to do next. Okay, so I just took a touch on the different types of these wire ends. They're all copper, they're not brass. So these now will all go to number 2 copper due to size and due to the plating on them. All right, that was it for that one. All right, guys, so now we're into the, not just an evaporator coil or a condenser coil. This one had the aluminum plate on this side like that one did, that I was able to cut it right off, and I cut this off, but it was so mangled, I had to cut a short section of tubing off. So, and how we get this out of here now, these are all copper tubes that run full length, and this is a 3-layered one. You got 1, 2, 3 different rows, and bazillion rows. So we'll cut strips like I did here, and I might even experiment a little bit on this. And you can see the little pieces of aluminum, that's real aluminum. I'm going to take it to the scrapyard. I don't know what they'll do with it. But, so what we do to get this copper out of here now, and I don't know if I can do it on this little piece, but we're going to try. We'll try. You take a knife and you just cut it. Cut it right down the center of the tube. Like that. You see now the next one is way down inside. The next one is down here, so that's what makes this harder now. But you need a pair of pliers, or needle nose maybe. I think needle nose works best for this. So anyhow, like this one is way down at the bottom, so I may end up making another cut right beside this tube, and open it up and open that one up. Not sure yet. I've not done one this big, especially a 3-layered one. 2-layered ones aren't too bad, but this 3-layer is nasty. All right, we'll get started. Started with kind of a temporary cut here. I want to come in right beside this tube and miss that tube and get these two, I'm thinking. So right about here. Okay, my theory was good. There's a piece of copper. There's lots of aluminum, but it's so bent up here. It's really good. Got a good way to hold this down. This will work. Now, these are so boogered up on the ends, it's kind of hard to get them to pull out. So you should be able to, without that, if they want to pull through from one side. My goodness, these first ones here are just going to be a nightmare, but the rest of these should go right in. Cut this one. I've already cut that one. Can't get to the other, so. All right, guys, I've kind of rethought this a little bit. And I think I'll still probably end up cutting this way. But if you look here, when you're doing a 2-level, you just have this one and this one, and it's easy to cut it with a knife, then pull that one out, then pull this one out the other side. But when you have a 3-level like this, it's a whole nother story. So what I'm thinking of doing is taking the 4.5-inch angle grinder and cutting on top here real lightly so I can cut enough loose where I can just pull that copper out. So that's the new plan. Not the old plan, but the new plan. So give me a minute and we'll get set up. Let's see how this new plan is going to work. I'm wearing a dust mask because it's going to be a lot of aluminum dust and a little bit of copper dust. So really don't want to breathe it if I don't have to. So let's see, let's find one right there. Right here or what? That booming and banging you're hearing is thunder. So that doesn't want to come loose. Now my theory is that I can stick needle nose in here and do that. Well, obviously I cut that one too much because I went right through it. Yeah, I did. That's too heavy of a cut. Okay, so let's go to this. Seems to work good. Is using this to split this. Now this is just a sample, and the rest of this will not have any of that on it. It'll just be this fluffy stuff. So I've been pulling these out, and where I've got the pipe exposed, I put this old Craftsman Phillips in it. And usually I can bend it out of there. And some of these are smashed because this is just the way this is, this first piece. So I've got 3 out. I'd like to get that one out. And then I've got, the problem is this, oh, this is probably 16 gauge or so. And it's right in the way of everything. There we go. So where am I at here? Right there, huh? So that being said, I should be able to. See, these are so jacked up. So now maybe this one cut off right here. Do this. There we go. Batch of different tools. As you can see, it's working. So you can see that right there. I think that's all copper. Right here. It needs to be up here further. That's what I've already got out of here. this piece, and it's, you can see there's one, two, there's three here, and maybe a couple over here. So now we're out of this thicker aluminum. So what I'll do is I'll score these with a knife, and then put the flat screwdriver in here and straighten it out a little bit, and then we'll take the round screwdriver and pull it out. That's the plan. So these have been a bear, and it's really hot today. It's been raining all day and all night, and that being said, the humidity must be 80% or so. But see, this is just wafers here. It's not a big deal, but it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. Round one. I need a little bit more scoring on that, I believe. Nope. There it is. From that little, well, that was about a 4 or 5 inch piece of aluminum. I took all the copper out. So we're going to weigh this, give us a general idea what we're going to get. That end was really hard because it was damaged. So the rest of it should be a little easier. There's nothing easy about doing this. So that's 4.6 ounces. Now I'd like to say that this is going to go number 1 copper. And you can see there's a where the aluminum was grafted in there somehow. It's not lead. You can't solder aluminum to copper, so I don't know what that is. I might wire wheel that. I don't know if I want to go through all that to get that little bit of copper. All right, so there's the first piece. I'm going to make another cut on this. Now the other one was about that wide with that heavy metal on the one end. I'm guessing that was like 16 gauge. So we're going to take a cut about here. This right here is 3 inches. This is 15 inches. So we're going to use a reciprocating saw and whack it right in here somewhere. Maybe I'll make a mark on there to do that. Bigger and harder. And, yeah. Okay. So we're going to try to do this. See if I can hold this down and cut. Isn't that cute? I think that's pretty special. Okay. There you have it. That'll be the next one we do. And it's still 3 layers and it's still munched on that end. This is what makes it really hard. See, if it was all like this, it would be a piece of cake to get through that, but obviously it's not. So we may continue on with the angle grinder, slicing it first, then take the one layer off, flip it over, and take the other layer off, and go from there. That's going to be the new plan. Well, guys, like most plans, they're made to be changed when you have a plan. And as you can see, this kind of worked to cut and take these tubes out using the pliers. You see they were damaged to begin with, but the ends now are smashed too. They're smashed flat, which isn't a big deal. It's copper. But I used the 4.5 inch disc grinder and with a cutoff wheel and made the cuts. But to do like I'm doing here, sticking a screwdriver in it and pulling it, isn't working 100%. So as we go here, that's one side. And see, we got the middle as the one that's going to be the bare. And I'm thinking here that maybe to cut down right down the middle on top of the copper tube rather than beside it. And we're going to make an attempt at that, I think, here and see what we can do. It's a really light cut. Try not to split that tube, because if you've got a pry on it, it's going to peel apart if you cut it down the middle. So there it is cut. And I'm thinking that you should be able to pull that out of there, and it's kind of does. That's why this pile of bent tubes are over there, because it kind of comes. But there, that one's split. So now it's going to be a case of peeling that aluminum back or using pliers. And you see that screwdriver, what it's doing is peeling the aluminum. And it grips so tight. I'm not sure. This is press fit. It has to be press fit on that tube. I'm not sure how that's done. So you don't have a good way to get all that off if you split the tube down the middle like that. And I should be able to peel that. So if you haven't noticed, this is a voiceover, and I'm trying to remember what I did and how I did it 3 or 4 days ago, because somebody forgot to turn the mic on. Oh yeah, that was me. So anyhow, I keep digging at this aluminum here, which isn't a bad thing, but it will be to our advantage in the future of this same video. And now you see I've got flat copper. Yeah, it was a learning process to do this. And I'm glad I did it. I said before, and I'm going to say it again, this is one of the hardest scraps I've ever done. And I've done lots. And this, I find a better way later that actually works really good. But up to that point, I wrestle with this stuff, different little things I do and different little things that I try. And they all kind of work, but not really work. So, and if I can't get that aluminum off of there, that's going to be dirty copper, so it's going to be number 2 if they don't downgrade your worst to a number 3, like my yard tries to do all the time. So anyhow, I got that one out. I don't know how long that took. It was way too long though. Yeah, not good. That was not a good thing that happened. All right, guys. So this is the aluminum right there, and this is the copper. This is 3. All right, guys. So you saw this top row is all taken out. That's what the copper looks like comes out of there. It looks like number 1 for the most part, other than being bent up like a pretzel. And looking at this, you can tell we've gone through the whole one side, just the top side. We have not done the bottom side or the middle here, as I'm showing. So a lot of work yet to do, and that first piece, that first row, first time was about 3 hours. So I've got to figure a different way to do this. I've done them with 2 sides before, but nothing like this. As you can see, guys, this is one of the problems I had, was keeping this thing in place. So I started using the C-clamp there and clamping it to the main piece, and it kind of worked. Didn't work well, but it kind of worked. And you can see the collection of tools I've got now to try to figure a way to get through this. And now I've got another knife that I'm going to use with that straight blade. Remember that. That's a straight blade in that knife and in the gray knife. And we're going to make some changes here down the line. You can see how much aluminum I've got and how much copper I've got in the bucket. And for the time I've spent, it's definitely not worth it. I mean, it's a horrendous amount of time and work. Okay guys, I'm working on a system here now. You can see I got all these. I'm pointing a way I can push that pipe out of there. And that's what I'm going to try to do here. If I make cuts on both sides of the pipe, and then take the screwdriver, the big screwdriver here, and I pry the aluminum away that's gripping it. That's why it's so hard to take out. The little ends where those part of the fins are press fit or clamped on or whatever. I don't know how the heck they do that. I don't know what it is, but it makes it really hard to get out of there. But you got to break that loose all the way down, and then sometimes take a knife and go in it, or a screwdriver in both ends. I think that's what I'm going to try to do here without bending it to bend. That one I just pushed. There it is, out and fairly easy. All right, guys. So this is what those bars look like when the material's good. It's 7.5 inch wide, 15 inches long, and 3 inches thick. So my thought is on these, I need to change the way I cut it. Instead of splitting down the top of the copper, I believe I'm going to change this here so it makes it easier to get the steel to the center row. The center row is still bare. No matter what you do, it's going to be hard. So I've got some ideas. Okay guys, so here's the new idea. If you look here on top of the block of the copper and aluminum, there's the utility knife I just picked up, and I've put a hook blade in it. And that hook blade is thinner and will cut this aluminum easier. It stays sharp forever. And you're also looking at the other knife laying there, which is they call them a linoleum blade. And it has a really good hook and a bigger handle, and it's much easier to pull on, as you'll see later on. But it's not near as sharp. So what I end up doing is sharpening this blade after I make maybe 4 cuts, then resharpen it and just keep resharpening that. And I make the initial cuts with it. So when I cut and it goes through, then I go through with the razor knife with the hook blade and recut it, and it goes right through very easy, and it does a tremendous job. And that's the actual way to get this done and get it done much faster and much easier. And it's still hard, believe me. I'm not saying it's going to be really easy now. It's still going to be hard, but it makes it much easier and easier on the body. You can see the knife hanging up there now. So it needs to be sharpened. And the little hook in that utility knife is just incredible, because I'll go down the same slot now with that, and it just goes right through. But it doesn't want to start initially. It wants to hang up like it just did there. And that becomes a problem, but not a problem I want to stop and get something else. So that's the plan. I just wanted to show you one more thing, is using the screwdriver to try to push that out. It doesn't do it, but it does separate that aluminum when you push it down the length of the tube. Okay guys, this is how the hook knife works after it's been sharpened. Now I've got the one piece here, and I'm going to make my first cut. The knife is sharp, and it'll go right through. I punch through at the top and just pull it down. And it still pulls hard because it's a thicker blade, but it goes right through. And it's doing a heck of a job right here, going through that layer. And I believe that's a top layer. Then take the utility knife with the hook blade, and it's just like butter.
It just goes right through. And you can see the pieces coming off. And that's a good thing, because that's releasing that whole tube so we can get it out. And I think I can take the big screwdriver and just push it out. There you go. That's what I end up doing for the rest of the time. Alright guys, these are one of the last cuts that I'm going to do before we're all done here. Notice how the hook knife goes right through there. It does a fantastic job until it gets to the heavy stuff. Now I come in with the utility knife with the hook blade in it and finish it off. And it just pulls all that aluminum away from where it's fastened to the copper and pull that out by hand. That's just amazing. Alright guys, after all that I figure I just have to put this on a scale and weigh it. I'll tear this bucket out first. I believe these are 1 gallon buckets. And that one looks like 10.2 ounces. So we tear it. And now we put the bucket with the copper in, and it should just weigh the copper. And I'm waiting. There we go. Looks like 8 pounds, 11.2 ounces of copper. Amazing. Worth it. Alright guys, if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, share with a friend, subscribe, ring the bell for future notifications, give a great comment, come back again soon. I'm sure you're glad it's over.